Hey everyone, Steve Poland here. It's been about 3 months or so since my last full Fishroom Tour, so I thought it was about time. Everyone's doing well here in the 125. This is where we'll start. If you watched last week's video, you saw that I did a rescape on this tank. So I only have the 5 larger rocks in there, giving them some more swimming space, and they seem to be enjoying it. A lot of these guys are starting to get pretty big, so did want to give them some more room to swim around. Did have kind of a bummer. Something happened. I mean, I can't say it was like an incident or something, but I want to make sure that I don't give the impression, and I definitely don't mean to give the impression, that everything with all my tanks and this whole hobby is great all the time, because it's not. You know, I have problems just like everybody else. And one thing, if you saw a few weeks ago, or maybe over a month ago, I did a video. I got some new fish. A couple of those new fish were some Tanganyikan sand sifters. They're called Kalisa, and unfortunately I've lost both of them now. Wasn't totally sure how they would do in this tank with these guys. Was hoping they would do well. The guy I bought them from had them in, it was a larger tank than this, but it was in with Africans. They didn't seem to be getting picked on too much. My water parameters are good, so I don't know, maybe it was just that they're super sensitive and my water parameters weren't perfect, because they just kind of seemed to get a little more lethargic as time went on, and then eventually one of them passed, and then a week or so later the other one passed. So I was kind of bummed about that. I thought those were really cool fish, but that's kind of how it goes in this hobby sometimes. You just lose fish, or fish get beat up, which is another thing that's been going on. I had a German red in this tank that I really liked from the Cichlid Shack, and he got just destroyed one night out of nowhere. I really have not had a lot of violence. I mean, these guys, obviously African cichlids, they pick on each other, but I haven't really had a fish just get mauled ever since I got rid of my Mbuna, really. And but that German red, and he was really starting to come into his own, but he got just, I thought he was going to die. I've got him downstairs. I'll show you here in a little while. I've got him down in a hospital tank, but so that happened as well. Really though, for the most part, the violence seems to be over. I did move when I got the Taiwan Reef right here. When I got him, I had him in the 90, and I moved him over here. He's colored down a bit, so I may move him back. You know, it's just a constant battle. It's really just, it's almost like a game of strategy to get these guys to look their best all the time, which I kind of like. I think it's fun to try and pull that off. And so this guy here, the Red Empress, you know, they're both, the Red Empress and the Taiwan Reef, they're both Protomilus. So he's kind of been picking on him a bunch, but it's actually made the Red Empress, his color has come out more, which is kind of cool. The other change that's gone on with this tank, stock-wise, I did move over from the other tank this Mloto. He's hanging in the back there. Let's see if I can't get him to come out. There he is. He definitely has colored down since he's been in this tank, but again, that kind of happens. But the good news is I really like the way this tank looks overall. As these guys have gotten bigger, it's really been enjoyable. For the most part, most of them are colored up. This new OB is awesome. It's kind of a jerk, but I don't think he was the one that took out that German red. I don't know who it was, but I never saw him picking on the German red at all. So he looks awesome. Sunshine looks awesome. The Borlei is one of the newer ones. He looks amazing. He's the biggest fish in this tank, so it's not a huge surprise that he would stay colored up. But overall, that's what's going on with the 125. Things are, for the most part, good, other than those couple of issues. Now let's go over and take a look at the 90-gallon. Okay, here is the 90-gallon grow out. So I didn't take video of it like I did on the 125, but I did kind of rescape this tank at the same time. Did a deep cleaning as well, pulled out all the rocks, and then the biggest rocks that were left over that didn't go in the 125 went in here. So again, I've just got 5 bigger rocks in here, and I've got probably 30 or so fish in here at this point, so giving them more room is also a good thing here in this, smaller. I mean, it's not small, it's a 90, but it's obviously smaller than the 125, and it's only 4 feet wide. So going in here and taking a look, that guy is newer, he's looking great. The dragon bloods that are in this tank are looking great. The flame tail is like, it's just on fire. Blue dolphin looks good, and then this is the turkis that I actually moved over from the 125 because I wanted to see if he would color up more, and he definitely has. And I feel like he's been growing faster since he's been over here. Probably because he's one of the larger fish over here now. That is an F1 yellow Tanzania that looks good. And if you can see him over there in the back, the catfish, the multipunctatus, they've been doing pretty well over here, which has been awesome. The all-star, get out of the way, the all-stars, the bristlenose plecos. Deepwater hap looks good. See a little more of that flame tail there. Unreal. Let me see if I can find my blue orchid. See where he is right now. Doesn't look like he's gonna cooperate, so oh, there he is. So the blue orchid was looking amazing. I thought he was like ready for prime time. I moved him to the 125 and he colored like down to nothing, like gray. So I moved him back, and I don't know if it's just like a thing with the order of dominance, but he's gotten a little better, but he's just never gotten back to where it was. So when I talk about kind of all the experimenting and moving fish around and trying to do that stuff to get them to color up, well, that's all part of it. So that's one that I would say failed, though it's not like a permanent failure. He's fine. I would love it if he colored up because he was looking so good. And then one fish, I did have a fish kind of get roughed up in this tank. It's the blue gold peacock, so he's downstairs recuperating, and I'll show you him as well. So that was kind of a bummer, but that's just how it goes. But most of these guys are looking great. I really love this tank. Love looking at this tank. Alright, now let's go take a look downstairs. Okay, down here in the basement fish room, things are going well overall. I did a breeding update a few weeks ago, so if you saw that, you knew I was having some struggles. Things are turning around, which I'll show you here. This is the blue neon group. They're doing great. There's the male. Have another holding female up here, holding for probably about a week. There he is. So they're good. Next to them is the Sunshine group. They're doing well also. Male's looking good. and I have a female holding. So these two groups are moving along slowly but surely, but it's going well. Above that, here is a grow out of blue neons. Again, really hard to see these guys on camera. There are a lot of these guys in here, but they're doing well. They're growing out. I actually had another group. This is a combined, it's actually 3 batches of fry combined that are all pretty close in age, and they're growing out together. So they're doing well. And then next to them in the divided tank, this has pretty much become the hospital tank. Let me flip this a little brighter. In here I have the 3 remaining wild caught red shoulder females that all got roughed up. As you can see, that one especially is still in rough shape. So they're just in here together away from the male while they recuperate. And they are getting better. They actually looked worse than this, if you can believe it. In the middle compartment is my blue gold peacock from the 90 upstairs recuperating. He's actually doing much better. He was rough, in rough shape, but it's getting better. Still has some fin damage. And then this is the German red from the 125. And I thought he was a goner. But he's getting better slowly but surely as well. And then up above these tanks, let me flip this back to normal. You can probably not see in here too well. This is the blue regal group growing out in a 10-gallon. There's one of them that's pretty big now, probably 1.5 inches. And then over here is that last group. Oh, you can't see them at all. It's that last group of red shoulders. Still pretty small. I'll take you in the grow out in the crawl space here in a minute, but so a lot of the good news that I wanted to mention. This is a group from late April of Sunshines. You may have remembered that they were holding in that video I did on my breeding updates. And then the most exciting development, I talked a lot in that video about how my dragon bloods were not spawning. Well, right after that, and really it had happened when I was making that video, it had already happened. But I got a good group of dragon bloods. There's probably about 20 fry, so they're growing out here in this Marina breeder box. Half of it anyway. The other half is a small group of blue neons that once they get big enough will go over in the blue neon grow out. And then here in this 40 breeder are the red shoulders, and I've been picking these out, and as they've gotten big enough I've been putting these in the crawl space, so I need to pull some of the bigger ones out of here again. And there's that one dragon blood from before, but they're all doing well. Below that in this bottom 40 breeder is the wild caught red shoulder male who hides almost all the time. He's in the back there right now. This tank is a little bit cloudy because I just cleaned it. There he is. He's unreal. It's taken all of my restraint to not put him upstairs in one of the display tanks while the females recover, but I'd feel terrible if anything happened to him. I'd be so bummed. I mean, I would think he could hold his own, but you just never know. Then over here, this is the dragon blood group, and they just are so camera shy all the time. I'm gonna go turn off the Lights on the tanks behind me. Hang on a second. Okay. So like I said, they hate to be filmed, like more than any other group I have. I don't know why. But at least they're spawning now, so I'm excited about that. You can see the male back there. Let me see if I can't get him to move a little bit. There we go. Force him out of there. Really rarely get him on camera. He's just so awesome though. There we go. Move it, guys. I don't want to crush you, ladies. So, just want them to spawn some more. But man, he's just great looking. I would love to have a few of his sons upstairs to show off. Hopefully I will very soon, or in a few months, I guess. And then below that is the group that is still not spawning, the Azurus group. We've got 2 males in here, and the males look great. I'm doing a little proof of concept project here. K1 moving bed filter on top of a sponge filter. I just put that in there, so it's still floating. I'm going to see how it works. If it works, I'll do a video all about that at some point. So anyways, these Azurus are not breeding at all. I don't know what's going on. But I'm just going to give them time. Okay, and then the last tank in here, hang on, let me get up on the ladder. The last tank in here is the OB group, young OBs. Let's see, there's one of the males. I think I may actually have 2 males in here. Just have to see. But they're doing well. They're up here in a 20 long. That's kind of, they're almost like an afterthought, which is probably not cool of me, but oh well. But they're doing fine. Yeah, they're not super camera friendly either. There's one. Alright, now let's go in and take a look inside the crawl space grow out. Okay, so I'm here in the grow out, and the only fish that I've put into this system so far are red shoulders, F1 red shoulders from my wild caught breeding group. So what I've been doing, what I've started doing since I've got 2 containers, this container and the second container over there, is I'm pulling the males as they color up. I'm pulling the males out of here. So if you're wondering, like, how hard is it to tell with these F1 red shoulders, I pulled a group out here so that you can see. I'm not sure if you can tell there. So there's normal ones, you know, probably females or not yet colored up males. And then it's very obvious, the male right there. I mean, he is just, like, he's such a bright blue. Let me see if I can't pull him up real quick a little more for you to see him. See how blue he is? I mean, it reminds me more of his daddy. They just look amazing. So that is what I'm growing out in here, and they're growing pretty fast. I don't know if you can tell, they're probably 2 inches at this point. So I'm going to pull that male and put it over on the other side, just so that I can separate those out. And eventually I'll have, and I really have to decide once I get some more of these fish going, but eventually I'm going to have different types of fish in here. But I'm thinking that probably I'll just keep this right side and have it just be for one specific type of fish like I am now, and then that other side will be all males, and I'll just pull males out as I can tell and throw them in there, because obviously once they're males it's a lot easier to tell what they are. And the closest thing I would have to these red shoulders would be blue neons, and that's easy enough to tell the difference, so that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, this grow out is working great. These guys are coloring up really fast. One other thing that I've done that I don't think I've shown you, and I have it off because I have the lid off, is been using these Eheim Auto-feeders. So I just set those up on these growout tanks so I don't have to climb in here all the time. Got Northfin in there, and I just have it taped off with duct tape so that less of it comes out of there. So the feeding size is smaller, which helps a lot. And I have it set to feed twice a day. So that's been working real well. I've got these fish really coloring up. It's been awesome. So that is what's going on here in the growout. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if this is your first time here, as always, I'd love to have you subscribe, because each week I bring you a new video sharing my experiences in the aquarium hobby. I give updates on my tanks, review products, show you DIY projects, and share tips and tricks to help you take your tank to the next level. Hit subscribe to follow along. Have a good one.